Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is another HD broadcast of a professional Starcraft 2 game. I'm your broadcaster HD, and I'm coming at you guys with a Zerg versus Protoss matchup. We have AAA's Nerchio here, who is a very good Zerg player. For all of you guys who don't know Nerchio, he was the second place finisher in IPL Season 2, and I believe he lost against Whitera. Whitera was a champion of Season 2, so he's an incredibly talented Zerg player. Recently, he's kind of been overshadowed by Stefano, though, in terms of the Euro Zergs. Stefano certainly has been coming into his own, and Nerchio, I guess, hasn't been taking that many big wins after IPL Season 2. But nevertheless, Nerchio is still a very talented Zerg. He is going to be the pink Zerg down here in the bottom right-hand corner of this awesome map, which is known as Belshir Beach. I don't think I've ever casted a game on Belshir Beach before. I'm actually pretty familiar with it. Essentially, it's just a really cool tile set, very awesome looking. You guys can see it kind of looks like the set for Castaway or some kind of a beach movie, but certainly looks like a paradise out here. Very cool map. The water doesn't really play any effect or anything like that. And this was a big map in the GSL a couple of months ago. It's recently been removed, though, because of the fact that it is somewhat a Zerg favored map. I think Zerg has like a 65 to 70% win rate on this map. And when you look on the map, it kind of makes sense. I mean, it's super wide open, tons of areas to flank from. It's a Zerg heaven's paradise, a Zerg love land, if you will. And Nerchio couldn't be happier about this map. Grubby is going to be his opponent, though. That's the dark green Protoss at the top left-hand corner of Belshir Beach. And for all of you guys who don't know who Grubby is, he is a former professional Warcraft 3 player. He is actually one of the best Warcraft 3 players in the world. Grubby and Moon is one of the most intense rivalries of all time from Warcraft 3. And of course, now Grubby making the switch over to Starcraft 2. Hasn't really, I don't think he's made too many accomplishments yet. Nothing really comes to mind, although if I look it up, I'm sure I could find something. But I know that he's a very good Protoss player, and I'm sure this is going to be an awesome matchup. And we'll see how Grubby overcomes the map disadvantage as well, because as I said before, this isn't the best map for Protoss versus Zerg. In fact, it's not the best map for anything versus Zerg. Unless you fancy getting flanked by Zerglings and Roaches and Hydras and all bunch of sorts of stuff, it's a great map for Zerg players. Now, we did have Nerchio actually steal the gas right away. Kind of interesting. He didn't do the extractor cancel trick. He might have forgotten, or he may have just really wanted to steal the gas, although I'm not entirely sure why this early on. I guess it's going to limit Grubby into not going into something like double Stargate or quick DT expand, but Grubby will still be able to pull out a variety of maneuvers here, including 1-gate expo, 3-gate expo, and anything under the sun, really. We'll have to see. It looks like a couple of Zerglings may be able to run in here. Not a Zergling-proof Raw at the front. And Nerchio may look to exploit that. Extractor now bleeding to death, and it is going to get picked off, immediately followed by an Assimilator. So Grubby is going to go into a gas play here, and Nerchio has an expansion down right now, and is getting speed for his speedlings. He didn't open hatchery first. Interesting. On a map like this, you'd expect... Actually, it doesn't really make sense. Anytime you play Zerg against Protoss nowadays, you can't really expand right away, simply because the Protoss has the option to cannon that up and make it very difficult for Zergs to grab that natural. But speed is about to finish here for these Zerglings, and Nerchio is going to go right into a Roach Warren here. This is a pretty early Roach Warren, guys. And a lot of times when Zerg gets Roach Warren, it gives him two distinct capabilities. Either to make Roaches only for defending and playing a macro game, or to make a production cycle of Roaches and try to attack the Protoss player. And it's not really an all-in if you've already got a hatchery. It's more of like a Roachling aggression, design you do damage, and then fall back into a standard macro game. Now, Nerchio isn't really saving up that many minerals, so with his Roach Warren about to finish, I don't think he's going to produce a bunch of Roaches. He's making 3 right now, so it's a sizable amount. 4 right now, okay. If he makes any more than 4, then we can definitely bet he's going to go for Roachling aggression, and there's a 5th Roach as well. So Nerchio is most likely going to try to attack the front door here. And I think he has a good beat here on the Protoss player. He knows that Grubby has 1-gate expanded. Pretty risky stuff. 2 more gateways coming down as well, so there is certainly an opening here for Roaches and Lings to do some damage, but because the map is very wide, it's going to take some time for those Roaches to make their way across the map. We'll just have to see if Nerchio is going to be able to do anything at all. He's not moving out yet, which I don't know why. I think he should be pushing out before Grubby gets that production really going. Also, another thing that Zerg players can learn to love about this map is overlords can be placed everywhere. You can place an overlord here. You can, well, that's actually the best place to put an overlord, which gives you full coverage over the Protoss player. He actually does have an overlord right here as well. So yeah, we do have the Roaches and Lings now starting to push out for Grubby, for Nerchio, excuse me. Those are the Xel'Naga towers on this map. I guess it's like the beach ball version of the Xel'Naga tower. But Nerchio is going to be pushing out into the natural here, and he's got a sizable army of Roaches and Lings. But with the 3 gates fully in production now, I think Grubby may have enough to defend against this. We'll just have to see. Nerchio not sending the Lings in, really smart here. Doesn't want to get him force fielded and cut off. He's using the Roaches to do some damage, and that is going to force fields to come out of Grubby. I mean, yeah, he's going to pop 2 Roaches, but that's a lot of force field energy that he needs. More force fields coming down here. Locks out 1 Roach. That's going to get a free kill. But all these force fields are being expended here, and I think that's exactly what Nerchio's game plan is. And now with the Sentries having expended a lot of that energy, they are not going to be able to defend the Nexus, and the Nexus is getting beaten down by the Lings and Roaches. Oh my god, Grubby's gonna lose the natural! And the natural explodes in blue fireworks. That is a big loss for a Protoss player. Nerchio, though, is gonna lose a lot of his army. He may be able to pick off a couple of sentries as one last dying valiant attempt, but yeah, okay, so he picks off the Nexus, but losing his entire army in turn is not that good either, and with that means Grubby's got an opportunity here to make a counterattack. If Grubby can equalize with this counterattack, then things are going to look pretty good for him. But as it stands, Nerchio is ahead, and I love this play. Nerchio sending in a couple of Lings as well. The aggression is non-stop here from the Eurozerg. He is going to be able to pick off a pylon, powering up 2 warp gates, and that is absolutely devastating, and Grubby is pulling back. Unbelievable. Grubby has decided to pull back here. I don't agree with this decision. He was already halfway across the map. He might as well have just gone for a counterattack. If you look at the natural, Nerchio was just building spine crawlers, but I think Grubby had an opportunity to do some damage there. We have a WTF coming out from Nerchio here. I don't know what he's WTFing about, because he is in a huge... He's done a lot of damage here to Grubby. And of course, Grubby's still operating off of, well, actually 3 warp gates, so he did have 2 more in the background. But a lot of damage has been done to Grubby. But if we look at the economy tab, Nerchio really isn't that far ahead. But the thing is, the longer the Protoss player stays on one base, look, he's still only mining on one base. He only has 1 set of chrono boosts, doesn't have the additional gas coming in. The longer it stays like this, the further ahead Nerchio will pull, and it certainly helps that he's bringing a bunch of Lings in here. If he gets the Nexus cancel again, this is going to be so devastating, and it looks like he's going to get that Nexus down. Nerchio now just is, the longer this stays on now, guys, because the Protoss player is limited to 1 base, Nerchio is going to skyrocket. He is going to bust through the roof of this game, and unless Grubby makes something happen, he's going to fall hopelessly, desperately behind in this game. 3rd hatchery now coming up for Nerchio. Economy looking somewhat solid for him. He certainly could use some more drones, but we can understand that he's been playing a very aggressive Zerg style, so you know that makes up for the fact that he doesn't have that much drones. I also like this playstyle against Protoss because it prevents them from getting that 200 death ball as well, so everything really making sense here for Nerchio. Also picks off a Zealot, a lone Zealot. This guy's like the lifeguard. Just got picked off in the middle of the map. The lifeguard on the beach of Belshir. Void Ray coming out here. Interesting. So he's going to go for a Void Ray Scout? I think he might have misclicked or something, but he's going to make a Phoenix to follow that up as well. Wants to find out if Nerchio has a 3rd, of course, which Nerchio does. And Nerchio now beginning to spread that creep downwards towards the river as well. Phoenix runs in, sees the lair, about to finish, also sees the Evo Chamber as well. I think that Nerchio's just getting the Evo Chamber for upgrades. I'm sure he realizes those are hallucinations. And yeah, mass drone cycle coming here for Nerchio. That's actually not good for Nerchio, making all these drones right now when he actually needs to be making attacking units, because Grubby is moving out across the map with a substantial Protoss force, and Nerchio doesn't really have that many. He could certainly have used that last cycle on Roaches or Lings, but as it stands, he's got to evacuate the 3rd. All the drones now going for maybe a skinny dip here in the river. They're going for the watering hole. Grubby has an opportunity to do some damage. He's not going for the third, though. Only sending one zealot there, thinking there would have been drones there to attack. But little does he know, he's about to get flanked, and this is very risky for Grubby, going right into the heart of the Zerg Natural, and there's forces all around, and eventually those force fields will wear off. And once those force fields wear off, I think Grubby could end up losing his entire army. He's got to make something happen here. He's gonna get surrounded on all angles. The drones are beating their drums. They're waiting to surround the Protoss force. And Grubby is just gonna get annihilated here. I don't know if this is worth it at all. It totally depends how many drone kills he's gonna be able to get, though. He's already killed 19, though. Not bad at all. 19 workers killed. Force fields keeping the roaches at bay. Using the stalkers to micro against the drones. 20 workers killed. Now drones being pulled off the line once again. Grubby not doing too bad here. And if you guys look at the economy tab, he is ahead right now by 6 harvesters. He's continuing to kill workers. 23 killed so far. Great micro. Is he gonna get that last drone? No, he will not. And Nerchio taking some damage to the face. Grubby now teching into Colossi, has 2 bases as well. And a zealot here has been just wailing away at the drone line. That zealot, I guess, eventually did come in handy. 8 kills on that zealot so far, ladies and gentlemen. And Grubby making a game out of this one. It's anybody's game at this point. Your guess, guys, is as good as mine. Now, what is Grubby's follow-up to this? He's got Colossi on the field, and he's got extended thermal lance coming. I don't think Nerchio realizes Colossi are out either. No, he does not. He did know about the robotics bay, but he didn't know about the robotics support. So, does Nerchio have a Spire? He does not, which means that he will not have any anti-air, or at least any capable anti-air to deal with the Colossi, and that could be bad for Nerchio. And I love how Grubby's leaving the Colossi in the back. He's leaving them hidden right now, moving out with his gateway ball to make it look like he doesn't have a larger army than he actually does. And the longer this charade goes on, the more Nerchio falls into the trap of our Protoss player here on Belshir Beach. Will Nerchio figure it out? He's moving in with a couple roaches. He may get that crucial scout. He does. He sees the Colossi, sees the 3 Colossi, in fact, and realizes that's a futile effort, but those lings that went down were well worth their weight there, even the 2 roaches that went down. Now he will know he needs a Spire, or he needs something to deal with the Colossi. He's actually just investing all up into roaches. I can kind of concur with that, because it's not enough time to get a Spire up and get Corruptors out. He's just gonna have to bank on a large roach army to defeat the Colossi, but that is a lot of Colossus firepower. Will Grubby be able to do any damage here? Pathogen Glands is on the way with 2 infestors as well. Fungal growth could certainly play dividends here. Nerchio going in for a big attack here. He's going to be able to pop off 1 Colossus, it looks like, and 1 goes down. But all the while, those roaches are focusing the Colossus. The Stalkers are doing heavy, heavy damage, and Nerchio has to pull back. Wow. What a back and forth game here on Belshir Beach. Nerchio now grabbing the 4th to the bottom left. It's going to be a 4-base Zerg versus a 3-base Protoss. And it's still anybody's game at this point. I actually feel like maybe Nerchio is a little behind, because Grubby's got a little bit more harvesters. If we look at the units lost tab as well, Nerchio has been suffering in that department, almost a K more in resources that have been dropped into the toilet bowl and flushed. And that's certainly not good. Neuroparasite now coming for Nerchio, so keep in mind, guys, this is pre-patch 1.4, which means Neuroparasite doesn't have the range decrease, so they are still very effective against Colossi in this game. I have to see if that is what Grubby is going to try to pull off, but, you know, Neuroparasite's still a good minute away from finishing. May force Nerchio to engage here. The Colossi is focusing down the Infestors, but the Infestors do get their fungal growth off. 1 Colossus goes down, 2 Colossus go down, I believe. 2 Colossus still alive, though. Nerchio cannot get to the back where those Colossus are, and they're just raining down chaos on those roaches. Finally, he gets up in there, he pops off another Colossus, and Nerchio, if he can pick off the final one, he does do that. That means he's only got to deal with the Stalkers, and, you know, Stalkers without Colossus support are really, really weak. Grubby all of a sudden has to go into all-out retreat. Nerchio looking pretty good, guys. I can't believe it. Nerchio also pulling his drones to Maynard, and he still doesn't have Hive Tech, yo. I feel like if Nerchio could get into Hive Tech right now, he could seal the deal. As it stands, though, we have a lifeguard post over here on the left side of Belshir Beach. Grubby with 4 zealots looking to save the drones. Yes, save the drones from drowning in the creep. So we'll see if he moves them out. Yes, he will. 4 Zealots making their way to the bottom left, but at the same time, Nerchio also looking to make an attack on the Protoss third. There is an Immortal back here. The Immortal, of course, with only 5 range in this version of StarCraft 2. Meanwhile, the Zealots have found their way into the expansion, and they force all the drones off the line. Very great reaction from Nerchio. Almost instantaneous reaction, pulling his drones away. Oh my god, is he actually going to fight with the drones? Unbelievable! He could lose a bunch of workers as a result. 2 more Zealots joining the fray. And oh my god, Nerchio just going for a straight up counter. Doesn't even care about that. He is going to go right into the Warp Gate production facilities. Pops off 2 and pulls away. Brilliant play by Nerchio. But he is losing some serious economy here in the south. A couple of Wings and Spine Crawlers, though, at the end of the day, may be able to keep these Zealots at bay. A Fungal also comes down. And I think that will be enough to keep the Zealots out. All the Roaches also coming back as well. And a little bit of action going on at the top right as Grubby looks to secure his 4th expansion of the day. What a game. There's just an Infestor chilling here. What is he doing? He's just kicking back. He decided not to play StarCraft 2 today, and he just wants to prop up the umbrella and enjoy the view of the beach. Too bad. Too bad that didn't work out for that Infestor. And Grubby pops that Infestor off. What a game we have here, guys, and this map certainly has the capability of going into a very long macro game, which we are starting to see it approach with Nerchio on 4 bases, Grubby on 4 bases. I don't know, guys, this is a very close one. I still feel like Nerchio could use Hive Tech, though. I mean, some Brood Lords right now would just be great. Ultralisk could help as well. He's still stuck on Layer Tech. I don't know why. And Grubby making a concerted push in the middle of the map just to push away the Zerg a little bit. Doesn't look like he's going to press the issue, though. And Nerchio could be going for another backstab. I don't know what is he really going to help destroy the rocks at the gold for Grubby? Kind of interesting. I don't know why you do that, but oh, we have impossible engage once again. Fungal goes down on those 4 Stalkers. Those guys are good as done. And Nerchio could be gearing up for another big play. This is so down to the wire right now, guys, and honestly, it's going to come down to who has what expansions. It's currently even bases, so that doesn't favor Nerchio, and I would like to see Nerchio maybe grab a gold somewhere. He certainly got the map control to do so, but it looks like he may just think about ending the game right now before things get out of control and before the Protoss can really sit back on 4 bases, because I don't think Nerchio has an endgame plan. He still doesn't have Hive yet. So, trying to make something happen here, but, you know, this is really pushing himself, stretching himself thin. Those force fields can cut this Zerg army in half, and without the proper range, I don't know if Nerchio is going to be able to beat it. 8 more Roaches on the way. There is these Lings taking a bath right now. They may be preparing to go for a flank, and here's the engage we've been waiting for. Nerchio, can he get the Neo Parasite? Not in range. Colossus just staying 1 unit away from those Infestors, and Grubby coming up in a very cost-effective way. Didn't really lose anything there. That's the danger when you're playing against Protoss as a Zerg. You've got to make sure your battles are cost-effective. You can't just continue to throw away units for free. And that's exactly what Nerchio is doing, although he is kind of getting a little bit back here with these fungal growths. Oh my god. Anybody want some high roast Zerglings? Well done on the menu today, and that's Grubby's forte. We'll have to see if Nerchio can make something happen. Could go for a run by right into the main again. He is going to have access to these 2 warp gates for the 2nd time today. Pops off one of them. I mean, it hurts, but it's not that bad. I mean, if we look at the warp gate count for Grubby, he's got quite a few. So it's not too bad. And oh my god, a big army battle going on right here. Not the best engage for Nerchio. Those force fields once again messing with the intelligence of the Roaches, and the Roaches just get annihilated. Nerchio has to pull all the way back. Still without Hive technology. I can't believe this. Nerchio just refusing to go into Hive Tech could end up costing him the game. Psionic Storm now on the way along with Charge. The Protoss player is at tier 3 maximum tech, and that does not bode well for these Roaches. Unfortunately, they only have +1/+1 as well, whereas Nerchio's army is at 1/2. I don't know if Nerchio realizes that late game ZVP requires you to go into Hive Tech, and unfortunately at this point, unfortunately for him, he could be in a lot of trouble. He could just get steamrolled by that Protoss Death Ball. A couple of Roaches going to the right, trying to pop that Nexus off. They may end up doing just that. We have a big engagement in the middle once again. Nerchio trying to find the right spot to do battle, and he gets a Neo Parasite off on one of the Colossi. It is doing a little bit of friendly fire damage, but that gets feedbacked. Immediate reaction from Grubby, and Grubby just going to steamroll the Zerg army, and Nerchio putting out the Wrathful, rolling on the floor laughing. I guess you really want to make sure your grammar's correct, especially when you're losing the game that badly. Nerchio gets steamrolled by the former Warcraft 3 pro Grubby. Unbelievable play, and I honestly have to say a lot of that going back to Nerchio refusing to go into Hive Tech. I don't know if he has anyone else to blame but himself in that game. So that is that was an awesome match though on Belshir Beach, one of the most beautiful maps in play right now. And Grubby even winning despite the Zerg favorance of almost 70%. So well done right there, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this broadcast. Once again, these are all pre-recorded because I am in Atlantic City. I've probably already lost a couple $1,000s or whatever, and I'm probably dead broke because that's like my life savings, and I'm probably living on the street. But I hope you guys are tuned in because despite being a hobo, I will be casting at Atlantic City, and of course I'm going to Orlando, Florida to compete at MLG. Thank you guys all for tuning in. Make sure to hit that subscribe button if you guys could. And this is HD signing out.